Hey, and welcome to my channel. This is another pretty girl talk, and happy new year. I recorded this video, I want to say, what is it, like January 8th or 9th? So I know I have taken quite a break from my YouTube channel, and I don't know, I just feel like I wanted to come and just start off the new year right, be a little bit more consistent, and share some life lessons and tips that I have for you guys. This is going to be a very juicy topic. This is one of my New Year's resolutions, and I hope that this becomes one of your New Year's resolutions. So yeah, as you can tell by the title, we are going to talk about the power of absence and how to have that power. So if you are interested in learning more about this topic, you've come to the right place. But before we get into this video, make sure you like this video and you subscribe to my channel. If you are new here, I talk about hair, beauty, girl talks, and nursing content. I also tend to vlog a little bit, so just depending on, you know, what the day is, I might switch it up with the content. Also, as you can see, my hair is a little bit different going into the new year. I have been rocking braids, and no, I did not do them, okay? I know I made a video talking about, oh, you know, they're charging $800, $900. I found a beauty store, a braiding salon, charged me $390, okay? Old school African braiding, 3 people on my head. They came and delivered. So if you guys want to know more about my hair and everything, just let me know in the comment section down below, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But I just want to get right into this topic because this really is sitting with me. All right, so just to give you some background on what is the power of absence, what is all this, oh, the power of this, the law of this, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people are reading the law of power, you know, the 48 laws of power by Robert Greene, I believe is his name. And I read one of his books. Actually, I will show you the book right now just so I can show you guys. I have 2 of his books right here. These books I read, I want to say after my first major breakup. Don't ask me why, but someone recommended these books to me, and the 48 laws of power honestly was a game changer when it came to just life in general. This is more than just relationships, more than friendships, more than social settings. This is everyday use. Like, you will have full control over your destiny, what happens in your life. I'm telling you, if you just read this book and take some of these tips. Of course, you know, in the wrong hands, this can be seen as very manipulative and, you know, just up to schemes and games. And I know people use this book for schemes and games, but for me, it kind of helped me get my power back and stop letting people walk all over me. I will pull up the page exactly. This is rule number 16, right? Rule number 16. I have it annotated and everything so you guys can see. I have the annotations, and it says here, law 16, use absence to increase respect and honor. Judgment. Too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. If you are already established in a group, temporary withdrawal from it will make you more talked about and even more admired. You must learn when to leave. Create value in scarcity, okay? I put be rare as my comments, and don't be seen everywhere. You know, you have to have that mystery. And you know, there's different examples and keys that I highlighted in this book. Again, I would definitely recommend getting this book if you are struggling with something like this, just as an overall read, because it is just so in depth and really, you know, he's speaking knowledge. He says here, everything in the world depends on the absence and presence. A strong presence will draw power and attention to you. You shine more brightly than those around you. But a point is inevitably reached where too much presence creates the opposite effect. The more you are seen and heard from, the more your value degrades. You become a habit. No matter how hard you try to be different, subtly without your knowing why, people respect you less and less. At the right moment, you must learn to withdraw yourself before they unconsciously push you away. It's a game of hide and seek, right? So we can probably think of so many people that we are familiar with that use this exact power. They probably read this book. I think of people, for example, everyone jokes about it, Beyonce is a prime example of using her absence as power. This woman is probably the most talked about celebrity of all time, and we don't know a single thing about her personal life. We only know what she decides to share when she decides to share it. So that is a prime example of someone who has full understanding of what it means to have a private life. I would say someone who is the complete opposite and probably needs to read this section, and it's no shade, it's not, you know, to put this person down, but another celebrity would, for example, be Cardi B, right? That is someone who is highly admired and, you know, looked upon as like this icon. But when you go to her social media, when you look on her pages, she shares way too much. She's constantly online, constantly being seen, going to all the events, and it kind of lowers her value. People gain value in disappearing because people are saying, you know, what's going on? Why aren't they here? You know, what are they doing over there? You know, they want to learn more about you. It throws them off their game. There's so much power in not being in every single, you know, event or every single social situation, you know, just taking a step back. So that's what I wanted to talk about with this video. You know, the more people know about you, the lower your value becomes. And as a woman, I feel like this is something that we really need to consider, especially when it comes to dating, because I understand, you know, when we get all excited and we're like, oh my gosh, I like him, I like him, I like him. We make ourselves overly available to these guys, and, you know, it's natural, I understand it, and you just want to see them. But you know how when you show that you're interested, the guy tends to draw himself back, but when you weren't interested that much, he was fully present, trying to figure out what's going on, where are you, and just all over you. Yeah, it's because you lost that power because you were too present with him. You have to have that, like what Robert Greene said, that hide and seek feeling, that, you know, you're unpredictable. One day, you know, you're warm and fuzzy, and the next day he doesn't hear from you for a couple hours or so because you have, you know, maybe an event to go to, or you slept in, or you have to work, you know, things that you naturally do that you're forcing to go the opposite way so you can text him back. Do those things that you're normally doing throughout your day, because that absence is where you gain your power. So it also helps you maintain a sense of mystery as well by not being seen in every single situation. For example, like I said, Beyonce, we don't know anything about this woman. We barely know anything about this woman. And that's kind of why I admire her so much, because she's been able to maintain a personal life as well as a, you know, entertainment life, and she keeps them completely separate. So, you know, those are the two things that I feel like should be taken away from this law. But I'm going to explain how to act out the 16th law that Robert Greene is talking about, you know, for the feminine, you know, young ladies like myself, and how we can use it in our everyday. Okay, so the first way that you are going to practice this law is by withdrawing at the right time. Okay, withdraw at the right time. It increases your desirability, and it also makes that person go, you know, I wonder what's on her mind, I wonder what's going on. You know, they're going to constantly be thinking about you. So an example of this is, you know, you go on a date with a guy, right? Let's say this is your first date, right? Everything goes great, everything's smooth. It was an amazing date, 10 out of 10, the best date, perfect kiss, everything. Instead of gawking over him and saying, when's the next date, when's the next date, or, you know, texting him, oh, you know, I'm available this time. Don't say that. Don't say much. You know, he texts you, oh, did you get home safely? You say, yes, I did. I really enjoyed tonight. I appreciate you taking me out. And I hope you have a good night as well. Done. The next day he can text you, good morning, blah, 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 blah. You know, if you're still sleeping, you know, still continue to sleep. Don't wake up in a rush and try to text back. You know, wake up, have your breakfast, you know, brush your teeth, wash your face, see what you got on the agenda today, check your phone, text them back, you know, whether that was an hour later or 2 hours later, and go, oh yeah, you know, good morning, how are you? Or just say good morning, you know. And then maybe he responds back right away. So you still have your phone in your hand. He says, oh, like, how'd you sleep? You're like, oh, I slept great. I'm about to start my day and everything. Just get things going. You know, he says, what do you have going on today? Oh, I'm just gonna run some errands, nothing crazy. And after that, when he texts you again, go run your errands. Stop delaying your day because you have to run errands. Go run your errands. So if that means you text him later on that day, maybe in the afternoon, you know, it sounds like games, but I'm telling you, like, you not replying every single second, it's gonna show that you have a life, and it's gonna help him miss you too. It's gonna help him, you know, want to see you again and want to hear from you, want to see you. So you gotta just learn how to withdraw at the right time. Also, not talking about relationships, but with friendships. If you feel like you're constantly out with your friends, constantly in the mix, and you know, people are treating you a little bit different, maybe they're not respecting your time or not respecting, you know, the efforts that you give, maybe take a step back on purpose and withdraw from, you know, constantly going out, responding in the group chat, or engaging in conversations every single day with your friends. Take a break, you know, maybe go on a hike, do a self-care day, do something for you, and just make it more natural than like, oh, I'm just not going to talk to them. Just say, okay, I'm just going to choose myself today. I'm gonna go enjoy myself, enjoy my weekend, and, you know, not spend so much time with my friends during this week, and see how that affects them. You might notice that they reach out to you a little bit more, that they're like, hey, what's going on? Like, do you want to hang out like next week? Or, you know, what do you have going on this week? People are going to want to know what's going on because you aren't doing what you normally do. You're not super predictable like you have been in the past. And I feel like the whole point of the power of absence is to lose predictability, because when someone doesn't know when you'll be absent and when you'll be present, that makes them, you know, think about you a little bit more, like, oh, I wonder why, you know, they're not replying, or, oh, is it something I said? Or, you know, they start to think about different things, which causes you to be on their mind a little bit longer. So I would say the first thing is to learn how to withdraw at the right time to increase your desirability. And this is going to be a little toxic, and I feel like this is for the girls who don't know how to set boundaries or have a hard time saying no to things. I'm one of those people as well. I will make myself overly available for somebody, especially if it's someone I love to hang out with, and I'm just like, you know, if it's a girlfriend that I just, every time I hang out with her, it's just akiki, it's fun and just, you know, a good time, I feel like I will make myself more available than I actually am. And number two is to reduce your availability even if you're free, okay? And I had to learn this, and I'm bringing this into 2024. Just because I'm available does not mean I'm free, okay? And you guys need to understand that logic. Just because you have time does not mean that person needs to have that time as well. And I feel like, in my experience, when I have 3 days off, I'm like, you know, we can see each other all 3 days. Like, that's how I'm thinking in my mind, especially if I really like the person. But I told myself as time went on, you know what? I think one of those days I want to go to the mall. Or, oh, I think one of those days I'm just going to go work out and just kind of stay inside and do nothing. You know, I don't really feel like doing anything this day. And I feel like that should be 100% okay to have no plans at all, and that to be your plan. So doing that very, very often is going to, again, disrupt the schedule. People won't be able to predict when they're going to see you, when they're not going to see you. And it's going to reduce the amount of times that you're seen by that person. So for example, if it's a guy and maybe you saw him last week, right? And you guys went on a date on Sunday, and then you want to see him again on Wednesday, that's fine. But he doesn't need to see you Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He doesn't need to see you all those other days of the week. Even though you might have that whole week off, he doesn't need to see you every single one of those days. You don't have to make yourself available every single one of those days. And another thing too, if someone asks you, this is another way, if someone asks you, oh, can I pick you up tomorrow? You know, I want to take you here. If you're a person like myself who doesn't like people who are, you know, always spontaneous or always doing things last minute, a way to kind of show them that, you know, you have other things going on, or, you know, kind of teach them a lesson, like, you got to plan things in advance with me. You can always say, oh, like, oh no, sorry, I have plans, I can't. You know, that's an example of not constantly being available. Because a girl, you know, prior me, the old me, if a man said, oh, can I see you tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm actually gonna be in town. What can we do? I would tell my friend, hey, I gotta change my plans because, yeah, something came up. And then go see that guy and it not even be a good time, not even be fun. So I learned to just continue to have the plans that I had originally, and you know, he's just gonna have to see me another day, and that will help him miss you even more. That will help your friends respect you even more and respect your time even more, especially when you're not giving all your time to them. I had a friend that, and she had to learn the hard way. We're not that cool anymore, but it's like I didn't feel like she was respecting my time, and it's because I was constantly giving her so many options and so many days of availability that when, you know, I'm like, hey, like I went out my way, in my mind I'm like, I went out my way to make sure that I could come to this thing even though, you know, I had something else going on. She didn't respect my time, and I feel like that made that friend at the time lose respect for me. So what I then did later on was I said, you know what, if it's going to inconvenience me, I'm not going to do it. That's what I told myself. And that person tried to hang out, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't drive an hour to see you. You know, I can't do this, I can't do that, you know, but this can work for me. And that became a shock to that person, and they realized they had to move very different with me moving forward. So that's just another example that I would say for this, where you have to reduce your availability. Even though you might have that free space, that free time, that doesn't mean that you have available time for them. Okay, so this is going to ruffle some feathers, and I've talked about this in a couple of my other videos where I talk about privacy and, you know, the power of not sharing, the power of silence. It's similar to the power of absence, okay? So in this way, my third way on how to, you know, utilize the power of absence is by not disclosing your personal life, okay? That will irk somebody to the core, okay? And we see it all the time with celebrities. They post where they're at, they don't post who they're with. They're on vacation, they don't post who they're with. They might post a selfie and it's clear that they're on a plane going somewhere, but they don't post who's with them. Like, you know, different things about your personal life that you don't want to share, don't share it, okay? Having that sense of mystery, like, is she in a relationship? Did they break up? What are they doing? You know, people will want to inquire and talk and ask questions about you because they don't exactly know what's going on. So for me, for example, unfortunately, I do rant a little bit on the close friends. I don't show faces, you know what I'm saying? But occasionally I will rant on my close friends about just different things. But when it comes to all my socials, I do not talk in depth about my intimate personal life. And that is something that I always want to have like with an air of mystery, because anyone that I do decide to date or do take seriously or do commit, you know, in a committed relationship, I don't want our business out there. I don't want whether we are phenomenal or whether we're, you know, in turmoil or breaking. I just don't want any of that stuff out there. So I try my best to kind of keep that side of me private. And people always wonder, like, is she in a relationship? Is she not in a relationship? Is she doing this? Is she doing that? You know, even with my career, I don't announce, okay, I got this job, that job, and that job until I sign that paper and said, oh yeah, I got this job. Some people will say, oh, I'm applying to this job, or I'm, you know, doing this career move, that career move. And sometimes when you share all that information and you tend to overshare, people kind of lose respect for you and almost like prey on your downfall. So it's best to just keep some things private, because it kind of raises people's value of you. Like, for example, the queen of it all, Lori Harvey, she will post a picture, you know, selfie, 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 and then all of a sudden she just stops posting that person. She's not posting subliminals. She's not posting how mad she is. She's not posting all that. She doesn't have that a part of her MO. Yet everybody is talking about her, and that's why I love to dissect Lori Harvey, because she has figured it out in terms of like figuring out how to date. Do I like all the people she's dated? Not necessarily, but whatever she's doing, if something's not serving her, she moves on, and she does it smoothly. She does it smoothly. It's not crazy. It's not a bickering back and forth, yelling and screaming. I feel like when you're too much, when you're too in the light, especially for the wrong reasons, people lose respect for you. That's what I'm saying. Like, with the power of absence, with the power of people being absent of certain knowledge about you, it increases your desirability, increases your value. So definitely consider to not share the intimate personal details of your, you know, whether it's your love life or your friendships or just any other things going on in your life, because you will be so much more admired when doing so. And last but not least, the last way to increase, you know, your power through absence is to let people use their imagination. Let people wonder. I think that is probably my best ability, and things that I've heard people tell me that I do subconsciously. People always wonder what I'm thinking, because I've learned to be absent of words. I've learned to just look at someone and they know I'm thinking something, but they don't quite know what I'm thinking. They don't quite know what might be my next move. And that has been something that I've been told is probably one of the most frustrating yet enticing things about me. And I'm like, what? But it's true. Like, when people don't know really what's on your mind and they're left to just wondering, and, you know, all they have is their imagination. When I'm telling you, you can have a person around your finger, I promise you. Like, just keep it brief. Be absent of words, absent in your physical being. For instance, like, someone had asked me, and you guys will probably say, oh, this is toxic. Lex, you're coming into 2024 toxic. Listen, I'm coming trying to help y'all out. Sprinkle, sprinkle, okay? Shout out to Shara. We love Shara. Listen, if someone asks you a question like, for example, and this is, you know, shout out to Shara, shout out to Shara. I mean, my mom told me this first, but, you know, Shara, she emphasized. When someone says, what are you looking for? What are you looking for in a partner? That question is a trap. All right. Ladies, I'm trying to be your big sister. That question is a trap. Okay. Men do that to see if they already fit what you're looking for, and to hear what they have to do to fit what you're looking for so they can sleep with you. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. So what I have learned to do, instead of saying, oh, I want a guy who's tall, dark, handsome, funny, generous, I don't say all that anymore. Okay. I use two options, right? Depending on the guy, because sometimes they aren't satisfied with the answer. The first option, and again, these are both very brief. I'll know when I see it. Like, what are you looking for? You say, I'll know when I see it. I have a really good idea, but I'll know when it's right in front of me. They're like, what? What does that mean? What does that mean? What's that, Lex? What that mean? They hate that question. They hate that question. They hate that answer, sorry. But the second one that I use, which I tend to use a little bit more than often, I say I look for an old school, old-fashioned gentleman that means what he says. Like, whatever he says, he does it. He's a man of integrity. That's what I say. And that could mean a lot of things, okay? That could mean a lot of things. And I keep it very brief, and they're just like, well, damn. You know? I'm like, but out of everything, I want a man who does exactly what he says. You know? And it kind of throws it back onto them, because if they tell you, oh, you know, I'm a provider, I'm a protector, you know, I'm going to make sure my girl's taken care of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They already told you this whole thing, and you just said you just want a man to stand on business. You want a man to do what he's saying. Then he's like, dang, I gotta follow through with all that. I gotta follow through with all that and then some, and be careful what I say, because she's gonna hold me to it. Yeah. Those are the only two things that I say. I keep it very brief. You do not want to be the girl that gives a laundry list of things that you want, things that you don't want. You just don't. Especially in the beginning, because it just leaves no room for imagination. It leaves no room for, you know, guys to kind of explore and maybe think outside the box. They're just gonna do exactly what you ask. So if you said you like a guy to buy you flowers, they're only gonna buy you flowers. Like the next day, usually guys, like when I said, oh yeah, I like flowers, like casually, the next day they will buy you flowers. It's because they're like, okay, what can I do to get her to like me? Like that's how men think. They're like, okay, what can I possibly do to get this girl to like me? You know, what do you like? Okay, if you like chocolate, I'll get you chocolate. If you like flowers, I'll get you flowers. Like that's kind of how they think. So if you just say you like a gentleman and he doesn't know that means opening the door, closing the door, you know, ordering for you at the restaurant, you know, you say what you want to him, and then, you know, guys don't know that. They don't know, like my dad always taught me, like, listen, you tell me what you want and then he tells the waiter. Like I tell him the drinks and everything that I want and then he tells the waiter. Like that's always how I grew up. Some guys don't get that. So like that's what I mean when I say a gentleman, always buying flowers, like always doing this, always doing that. And when you say that, they do their version of what they think a gentleman is, and then you're like, ooh, like, yeah, this ain't it. So there is a lot of power in withholding and not saying everything that is on your mind. I'm telling you right now, like, you will learn so much about other people and how other people function. The less that you do, the less that you say, the less that you show, because they are going to, they're gonna overdo it so they can figure out what you're thinking, what you're doing, what's going on in there. So please, guys, read this book, okay? Read 48 Laws of Power, because this book this book is amazing. That was just one of the many things that I did want to discuss, just because I feel like a lot of girls struggle with it, especially when we really, really like a guy. And I get it. I get it. I get it 100%. Maybe I'll make another video talking about this and kind of give like the girl version on how to do this and how to, you know, act out these laws in your everyday. Who knows? You know, leave a comment if you want me to. Let me know how you like this pretty girl talk. I'm getting into the real business this year, the 2024 real business. Shout out to my hair. I've been playing with it this entire time. But yeah, let me know what other videos you would like to see on my page, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Don't know that I've been